Well, I'll just finish up the story.
You start,
You want to start me up, we had a generator where you started up.
start me up with a generator, right?
Well, not to abuse too much the old Jack Parr bit, but as I was saying, if you dig down underneath the boardwalk at the oceanfront, if they haven't removed them when they redid it, you'll find crushed cars because the northeaster that came through back in the 60s, which was still the worst storm we've ever had, not a hurricane, but a northeaster, took out the boardwalk, pretty much just wiped out huge sections of it. Either the boardwalk itself or the land behind it just washed it out so that you had cave-ins of the boardwalk. And they had to fill that in pretty quickly, and the quickest thing they could find at that time was old demolished cars. So they brought in these flatbed trucks full of crushed automobiles and trucks and put them down into the gap and then filled it in with sand and dirt. So unless they remove those old rusted hulks should still be underneath the boardwalk. There are scenes, you can see them, they're in history books, but you can also get them online, where the Army had their ducks back at that time. They have other things now, but they were vehicles that could go on land or water. And they were evacuating the oceanfront. You can see these things coming up Atlantic Avenue. Atlantic Avenue has something like 6 feet of water on it. They're coming up, getting people out of their stories. People remembering how the duck would pull up in front of their house, and some of the military guys would help them get into this thing, and they'd take them to shelter. So it was a major, major event. And that was a northeaster with even a hurricane.
Yeah, that's I think the incidents that we've had around here, Isabel, Floyd, but when I was a kid, I was 15 years old. Um, that's when Gloria came through, 1985,
Yeah.
and I'll never forget that watching trash cans go down the street. You know, the big green ones falling over. I think trash day was that day, so most of them were empty. So if one tipped over and the lid opened up, it was a projectile. It was a big green, and I watched a few of those go flying down the street. So that was pretty amazing. And I remember we had a boat at the time, and my dad put water in the hull, hooked it up to this giant Pontiac that we had. You know, it was a car, but it was bigger than our truck. You know, the thing was a Granville. This thing was a boat. It was a boat pulling a boat, but it was a good car, and filled the hull of the boat with thanks. Wendy, sorry, I'm a little ADD today. I've got my Def Leppard shirt on, and I was just commenting on Facebook there. But it was amazing to see all of the stuff and filling the boat up with water and the hull just below the floor just to keep weight on it because we didn't know how bad it was going to be. I think there was another deal where the storm was going to bring it in closer to shore, and then maybe at the last minute it kind of turned and went north. So
Yeah, I was for Gloria.
yeah.
Not Gloria. You just said the name of the storm. I can't remember what it was. It Gloria?
Yeah, Gloria, 85, yes.
That was one where I was down at Sand Bridge shooting the waves crashing ashore and interviewing the. Actually, for that one, we got
Surfers?
The reporter I was working with at that time was pretty savvy, and we interviewed one of the structural engineers who explained how the oceanfront hotels and things were designed so that the water could run through it and not
Right.
knock it over.
Right.
And went into detail about structural differences between buildings in hurricane-prone areas versus other areas, and what the insurance requirements
Right.
were, what the codes called for, and how the codes were changing even at that time
Yep.
to do different things. So it wasn't the standard. Yeah, we got flooding down here.
It was out. Well, you know that
better.
the idea about building next to the water now, something I can speak with knowledge on, is that you basically the first level, if you're in a high flood area, is actually you're going to have collapsible walls. I mean, these walls are going to go before the structure holding the second, third, however many stories that you have up. Obviously, a hotel's a little bit different because there's pilings in the ground, concrete pilings. So pretty much everything you see around the outside of a first floor is veneer. So theoretically, a window could wash out, blow out, a door could collapse and go, and water now could go through it and not hit it and push against it and cause some pretty significant problem. That's the idea behind flood vents in houses, that the vents open and allow water to travel through the crawl space.
Yeah.
So it's not all of that water pressing against the footing, the foundation, and the piers. So I guess it works. It helps. I know at least when foundations, crawl spaces in particular, get water, obviously under the floor of the house, it helps them drain out quicker. We've had to pump a few out before. So if you have a basement and you don't have a sump pump, that works. But anyway, I'm on Facebook Live right now, Kim, because obviously we just lost power again. So we had a problem with the transmitter earlier. It's back up, but it's broadcasting something else. And then the power went out in the studio. So in a day and age of technology, we have Facebook to broadcast on, right?
Hoorah!
So if you listen to
Mark
us,
Zuckerberg.
that's right. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. The satellite, the rocket that exploded on the pad this week down in
Yeah.
Cape Canaveral, wasn't that a Facebook satellite in there that I heard?
I don't know. That was it was for a different country.
Excuse me.
I forget which country it was for that had purchased the launch time. For their
I think
satellite.
Africa to get internet service throughout Africa or something. I heard.
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember the specifics. I just remember thinking Elon must be banging his head against the wall. But that said, he's one of those people that looks at failures as learning process. So thank goodness for that.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did the Wright brothers fail, right?
Yeah.
And of course now, this day and age, there's a lot of people that sit on the sidelines of progress, and they love to say, yeah, you failed, but the difference between the actual difference is one person is getting it done, and the other person is comfortable when they don't succeed. But ultimately, if you're a successful person, you're going to succeed regardless, and that is it.
But for every SpaceX rocket that has gone off on the pad or the first stage and land properly on the barge, how many did get up into space properly, and how many have landed on the barge? Which, if you think about that, you're taking a rocket that first stage booster that just launched something up
Hey, Ralph.
the orbit, and it's now going to find its way down to a little barge floating in the ocean, and it's going to land upright.
Right.
Holy mackerel.
That's amazing, isn't it? And I remember, and of course, in the day, not only the technology making that possible, but to actually have a camera on it.
Yeah, so you can see it.
Right, that's amazing. That's really amazing. So, and there again, I want to remind everyone, at the top of the hour break, we're going to try to get Joe on. Joe is actually, and I'm going to get the pronunciation, I don't want to butcher his last name, DeLeo. Sorry, I got stuff going off here. Live radio with technology going everywhere. Joe was one of the founders, original founders of the Weather Channel, and he's now with Weatherbell. He's the chief meteorologist with weatherbell.com. So, pretty smart guy. I want to talk to him about the storm. What can we expect? Where is it going? Is it actually going offshore and getting out of here? Is it just going to meander out there and cause us problems for the next couple of days, or will we have a Labor Day? Hey, Ralph, so we have somebody on Facebook here, a friend of ours. Ralph says we don't need any power. So they're down in the Sneed's Ferry area, North Carolina. So I know it was bad down there. So hope you guys are in good shape. Everybody's safe, and that's it. So speaking of cars, and when I was growing up there in Hampton, I remember between Grandview Beach and Buckrow Beach, there was a car out there, and all you would ever see is the undercarriage of it and the wheels sticking up. I mean, for the longest time, you could just see that. And then we'd have a storm, and most of it, would get hidden underneath sand, and you'd have another storm, and it was exposed again. So it was always neat to see. I don't know whatever happened to that thing. So
they probably eventually pulled it out. I'm sure it was hazardous waste kind of stuff.
I mean, I guess it was there for years. So if somebody's watching right now on Facebook, tell me if you remember that car, first of all. And you would if you grew up in Hampton. So Ken just gave me the two to go. So we'll be taking a break here, and then hopefully get Joe on the line, because that's going to be really cool. You look at storms and stuff, and you think of times like this after the danger is past, after the storm is past, and everything's safe again. If you go out to the beach, what can you find?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing stuff, and I'm sure there's someone right now walking down a beach somewhere checking out the stuff that's washed up or it's been unveiled underneath the sand. So,
how many shipwrecks have been revealed thanks to a storm that depleted the beach? And oh my goodness, look at the ribs of that ship that was buried for so many years.
We just have a little bit of time. Did you see the pictures in Florida with the boats washed up on the road? It was amazing. Ralph, make sure your boat's cranked up in the air a little high, buddy.
We were watching the Weather Channel last night, oddly enough, and there was one marina where the water had come in and picked up a boat and had pushed it across where it would normally be grass, but at that time it was water.
Right.
Pushed it across, and it was headed towards some homes, and the only thing that kept it from crashing into a home was a fence. And the guy was like live talking about, here's where the boat was. and he walks across, and you can see how far the boat went. And says, here's where it ended. It had moved for this fence right here. That house there would have been damaged.
So if I'm the fence contractor, put that in. I'm shooting my next commercial there. Our fences are so good, you know. You got to take advantage of this stuff, man. You got to. But you know, we joke about it, but everybody needs to stay safe because you know, right now the winds are what are they? Looking out the studio, sorry, this way. They're not that bad. Of course, they weren't that bad when we lost power too, so that really doesn't mean a whole lot. Now, if you're next to the wall, we're breaking.
Yeah, we got 10 seconds.
10 seconds. So let's go to a break and we'll come right back.
Time enough for me to say, stay tuned for more of At Home with Dwayne Cotton on AM 1650 WHKT Portsmouth, 9 o'clock.
Let's try to get Joe on the line, if you don't mind. So, hope everybody's all right. This is the...
Good morning, it's Ken Johnson with Dwayne Cotton, looking for Joe Galea. How are you?
Sorry, we're going live. Calling someone now.
Good deal. I've interviewed John Coleman numerous times, but I don't know if we've ever spoken. I honestly don't remember. Started talking to John.
Yeah, we are improvising, Becky. We actually have Joe Galeo online. He is one of the founders of the Weather Channel, and he's going to be live on our show. So, anyway, Ken's getting him on right now, and he'll be on in just a second. And let me get ready for this interview because I don't want to butcher it up. So, but yeah, power's back on now, so we're way to go. Hey, Becky, since you've joined there, can you hear us on the radio at our house? Ronnie Bookman joined. Hey, Ronnie, how are you, sir? Everybody, I'm supporting the band today, by the way. Sorry, we're just having a grand old time on a windy, tropical Saturday here in WHKT. So we have Joe on the line?
Yes, sir.
Is it DeLeo?
DeLeo.
DeLeo, like you said. Let's see. Joe DeLeo. Now, Joe is co-founder of Weatherbell, co-founder of the Weather Channel, and he's a chief meteorologist with Weatherbell, or weatherbell.com. Weatherbell Analytics is the company, and they actually predict weather. They help companies, big corporations out. And we're going to let him tell a little bit about what he does. But he's a good guy. I'm sure you've heard of Joe Bastardi. He works with Joe Bastardi at Weatherbell, so it's going to be a nice connection there. And good of him for joining us today. I got my little headphone issue going on here today, so we're getting ready to go live again. And obviously, if you're watching on Facebook, you can't hear our guests. So if you want to hear the guests, go to tunein.com and search WHKT 1650. You can also go to Wonder Radio.
Yep.
Wonder Radio. Yeah, Joe has an incredible biography. Wow. He and John Coleman founded the Weather Channel in 1982. That's pretty awesome. We're here to talk about weather. Maybe we could get him on again and talk about, business side of things and how did he do it and why did he do it. So why he did it is irrelevant because it's been a success. Anyway. My notes. Nothing.
Off the cuff, huh?
Mr. Smith, how are you, sir? Hope everybody's doing safe today. Like I said, the winds aren't that bad where we are now, but if you're next to the water, if you're in an open field, I know they're bad, so hang in there, be safe, and good luck.
You're in a smart car on the interstate, oh my Lord.
On the high-rise bridge or the Jordan Bridge.
Oh yeah.
Maybe that's what we could do.
I wouldn't be on the Jordan Bridge in weather.
Let's go fly a kite today off the Jordan Bridge. See what...
Make sure you've anchored your feet.
Yeah. Yeah, we've had to rely on Facebook because power issues, tower issues, and what other issues? Programming, whatever it is. I don't know.
The programming is affected by the power.
Right. Programming is the problem because of power and tower. And the tower doesn't work without. Pray for my. Oh yeah, Ben, I saw. Yeah, we have Benjamin Smith. He was on with us talking about mortgages I say a few weeks ago, probably about a month and a half, 2 months ago now. Time flies. But he has a neighbor with a dead tree. So, if you have that neighbor with the dead tree, you're worrying any minute it's going to fall. But you're going to be safe, Ben. No problem. Have faith, my friend. Have faith. And I have faith my headphones are going to keep working. The occasional short, yeah, it's bad.
Very expensive.
Put this over my head this way. All right, don't move. It's working. Joe, one more time, Ken.
Delay.
Anthony Young, how are you, my friend? We're getting ready to go live with one of the founders and creators of the Weather Channel. Pretty cool. Dang it.
Obviously, I probably will not be going to the Commodore tonight.
You don't think so?
If streets in Portsmouth flood like they usually do. Yeah, people won't be going there.
All right, folks, we're going live.
As opposed to going dead.
Doing good, Anthony. Sorry, we're going live here. We've had power outages and kind of crazy stuff, and we have a guest coming up, Joe DeLeo. He is one of the co-founders of the Weather Channel. Now he's at weatherbell.com. All right, let's do this, man. This is awesome. He authored a resource guide on El Nino. La Nina. Is it El Nino?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it Nino? El Nino.
Ready?
Yep.
Here we go.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back to this windy, rainy Saturday here in southeastern Virginia, northeastern North Carolina. We're having, I think we have power again, Ken, so we're good for the next minute or two.
I hope so.
If we drop off the air, that's what happened. Bear with us. It was off for just a couple minutes, and we're back on. Takes Ken a few minutes to get a couple thousand buttons here back in order, and then we're back live again. So, we have a special guest joining us today. We have Joe DeLeo. He is one of the original founders of the Weather Channel back in 1982. He's now with weatherbell.com. Joe, good morning. How are you? Hey, well, thanks for joining us this Saturday. I wanted to talk to the expert about this little storm that we have here off the coast. And before we do that, can you tell us just briefly a little bit about yourself and weatherbell.com? Got it. And listen, I know we have a little bit of feedback going on. We have a little bit of technology problems today, thanks to the storm. So bear with us if you would. So this storm that we have off the coast right now, can you tell us a little bit about what we should expect here in southeastern Virginia and northeastern North Carolina? Got it. And so, yeah, last night I noticed something, and of course, this is my layman's uh, terms here for what was going on, but it looks like that we had, I guess, a lot of cooler air mixing in with the storm here in southeastern Virginia because last night it actually cooled off slightly. This morning when I got up to head to the station, it was very, very warm and humid. Obviously, it was humid. It was raining. It's can off, but. So was that a mixture of the storm actually moving into that cold front? Is that why it was a little cooler here? Gotcha. Well, just to give you a heads up, right now we're having a gust. When you can hear it in the station here, it's pretty good. We're having a gust over us right now, so hopefully our power stays on. But yeah, in the southeastern Virginia area here, in parts of Chesapeake, it doesn't seem to be that bad. But if you're in part of the rural area there, and you're in the middle of a field, then it's a whole nother story with the wind. So, should the winds die off later today, or is it because we're on the backside? Are they going to stay at this increased level that we're having right now? I think we're having gusts at least to over 40. Got it. Well, the riptides are, even if the sun comes out, the riptides are going to be too bad for people to go to the beach or to get into water. Yeah, so stay out of the water, because it's a big deal. Um, now, gotcha.
And
We,
well, I turned my mic off. As I understand it, right now, it seems like it's more of a wind event than a rain event. So the flooding, if we see flooding, it's going to be not so much because of any kind of rainfall. So the inland areas that normally get inundated with rain with a tropical event, it's not going to be the issue. Today it's going to be the wind pushing tree limbs and things like that, and pushing the water into the waterways, which is northeaster here is really a problem.
yeah.
The bay and the ocean, the way the land is configured, pushing water into the rivers and streams can cause a bigger issue sometimes than the heavy rainfall.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, Joe, I remember back there in Isabel, there was a sign over on the eastern shore. As soon as you go off the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel, was "Welcome to Fisherman's Island." That sign ended up in a backyard in Hampton, off the Buckrow Beach area. And that was, you know that it was bad. You've seen the flooding, you've seen the houses torn down, but for whatever reason, for me, that was the perfect example of just how strong that storm was, because it was a pretty large sign, and to end up in someone's backyard was amazing. Wow. Wow.
Overall, though, I think in modern times at least, Virginia has been fairly fortunate as far as any kind of tropical storms, hurricanes, and what have you. We were talking about the Ash Wednesday storm back in the 60s that caused really more damage than any of the hurricanes we've had lately. We've been very fortunate, but we can always look back to 1933 and those storms and realize that it can happen here. We've just been very fortunate.
Good deal. Wait, hey, let me ask you this. I was reading yesterday that this was the first hurricane to make landfall in Florida in 10 years. What's other than just they've been lucky or blessed? What's the scientific definition of why is there one? Why they've been 10 years without it? Has it been because of El Nino or El? Well, here in the southeastern Virginia area, we've the occasional thunderstorm with pretty strong winds or things like. We just haven't had a big wind event. So what happens is when we go this period of time, then a lot of the weak trees are falling. You're sort of weeding out all the weak vegetation and things, and that's where I think the issue here becomes if you're generally speaking, for Hampton Roads, it's not been terrible. But if you're the neighborhood that's flooded and your house is flooded, or if the tree hit your house, and obviously it is for you. And I think that's my biggest concern is I see a lot of tree damage after we've gone a prolonged, period of time without winds. Yeah, good point. Well said. Yeah. So you've been around this for a while. So your prediction for the rest of the year is possibly active. Just wait and see. Got
And
it.
the season goes until October 31st, so it's just because it's Labor Day and quote-unquote summer's over, not so much, doesn't mean that the storm season's over. We have until just the day before the 1st of November to go, so it's still quite a ways.
Well, good deal. Well, Joe, I really appreciate you joining us today. It's been great. Let me just ask you real quick for our business owners out there. How does weatherbell.com, how Weatherbell Analytics help them out? Right, and then cities and states, if they're looking at the forecast for their reservoirs and kind of what to expect as far as fresh water, you can kind of help them out with that. I was reading that on your website. Well, good deal. Well, hey, I really appreciate you joining us today, Joe. You're great. Say hello to everyone there for us, and I really appreciate you joining us. Thanks very much.
And kudos to you, Joe, and to John Coleman as well. At a time when weather was a little 5-minute segment on your local news channel, you guys said we can do this 24/7. I think a lot of people were probably saying, "What are you nuts? 24-hour day weather, 5 minutes, and we're done with it." Well, you proved them wrong. So good on you. You did good. You had a vision and you followed through with it, and it's proven to be right. So you did good.
All right, Joe. Thank you. Have a good day.
That's Joe Galeo, one of the founders, co-founders of the Weather Channel. So pretty cool having an expert on who is also an expert businessman, because obviously he and John and we had the backers, of course, with the Battens, the financial backing there of the Battens. They proved the naysayers wrong, and it's been going strong ever since. We were watching it last night. I'm sure a lot of people are glued to the Weather Channel today.
Yeah, we Verizon FiOS. We have AccuWeather, so they dropped the Weather Channel couple years ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago now. So we just have AccuWeather.
Oh, I don't know. I don't have a right. I still have the Weather Channel. So we've got our expert in cabinet making back with us again. We're going to be talking to him just a little while.
And let's let him know now live on the radio. He doesn't know it, but you're actually live on Facebook too. Wow. So the radio and Facebook. Here you go. Here's the man right here with the cabinet shop. This is the designer extraordinaire with Kempsville Cabinets.
And we're going to be talking about that coming up as well. Let's go ahead and take care of some business. Excellent segment there with Joe DeLeo. And I hope that was some value. It was fascinating talking to him. It's one of those people we could probably talk to for an hour, because I'm sure he's got stories and information. But we only have a limited amount of time here on the air.
Yep, that's right. Yeah, we maybe get him again to talk about sort of the backstory of how he got into the business and the business side of things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
How do you become a weather forecaster?
That's right.
Stay tuned. We've got more of At Home with Dwayne Cotton, brought to you by Kempsville Cabinets. Coming up, it is 9:23.
All right. Finally, we're on a break here.
I drove all
All right. Now, where'd you?
the way from there. You guys do the stuff on the
Yeah, we're I think they're coming in to work on that right now. We are online. We're on tunein.com. We're on Facebook right now, which is actually pretty cool. Just set Facebook up here in the studio.
Do one, and people can see us?
Yeah.
Wow.
Popular man. But anyway, so we're doing what we can today when you have limited power and the power's flickering and the tower's kind of jacked up temporarily. So I think the engineers headed in to fix that. So hopefully we'll get us fixed soon. But anyway, I'm going to cut out on Facebook here. Go to tunein.com. Search WHKT 1650. You can listen to the rest of the show online. You can also go to, what is the other one you're telling me about?
Wonder Radio.
God, I'm
Wonder Radio.
Wonder Radio. And you said it's spelled in
With a U instead of an O.
Okay. Wonder with a U. So, anyway, we're going live again. I'll see you guys later.